Yeah, this is Queen Regina, and I'm on the scene. With DJ Fresh, and this is House of Love. Yes. I hope everybody's doing well out there today. We doing great. We are in the zone, honey. Code NYC Magazine, Triple Vibes Radio, and we have a special guest here today, and he is looking great. Baby, say hello to the family. This is DJ Mesh in the house. Yeah.
Hey, it's really good to reconnect with everybody at TriplevibesRadio.
Yes. And what have you been up to in this times we are in? How you keeping motivated? How you keeping yourself together?
I'll tell you, this has been a time where there's been lots of self-reflection and internal thinking of mystic transport and music. It's been both a difficult time and an extremely healthy time because we have to be with ourselves. And sometimes there's a saying, if you're alone and you feel like you're in good company, then that's a good situation.
Yes. And we we wanted to know about this mix that you have, and I wanted to know what was the inspiration of you putting this together. How have those feelings and reflections gone into your music?
Well, that mix that that you guys have been playing, it has been a long undertaking because I still spin on vinyl, and those records are exceedingly difficult and rare and unfortunately expensive to acquire. So that mix is all this early 1980 to like 1985 music they're referring to as Italo disco. Maybe many of you listeners know about it. I'm sure they have. They're a cool listener group. But it's basically when disco died in the US, it still was flourishing in Europe. And this was same at the time when synthesizers and drum machines and 80s music was really gaining popularity here in the US. So they kind of took that technology and they were making this disco type dance music that was pretty dead in the mainstream here in the US, but was very popular in places like Germany, the Netherlands, and Italy. So it's a really unique, hard to find genre that I'm digging. It's so fun, and it's got like this pre-electro disco synth disco flavor, which will get me going on the dance floor, and that's what's important.
Have there been any DJs, this type of music that have really influenced you, or either musicians that really influenced you in this, electro pop disco? Can you name some people?
Yeah, I don't know if I would call this, electro pop, but I see where you're going. This is more of comes from disco specifically. Like Giorgio Moroder is sort of shall we say, godfather of this music, which he kind of originated the synthesizer, incorporating that into a 4/4 dance beat. So, he's really a huge character in the genre, as well as many others. The list goes on, but they're very unknown and obscure. And, in the past couple of years, this music's gained some popularity, Italo disco, but I've been into it for so long. And, it's still not mainstream, but it should be, because it's so dope, for lack of a better term. I hope you listeners are liking it. It's kind of has a little connections to some freestyle and some pre-early electro, but it's kind of in a world of its own of synthesizer disco music, so, but yeah, that's the motivation for the mix was me just trying to put something together that people haven't heard. That's always kind of where I try to go because, with so many DJs today, there's really a lot of, redundancy of the same sort of stuff. So I'm always trying to go out the box and find niches of something cool that's new to bring to the people. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I had the opportunity to see Giorgio Moroder in Brooklyn. I want to say 2000. I want to say maybe 14, 15. He came to Brooklyn and
Yeah,
he DJ'd for the first time.
I was so.
Yeah, you remember the show?
Was it at Output?
Yeah, that's right. The venue closed.
Yeah.
So that was one of my favorite places, because they were really dedicated to dance music, like Cielo. God bless Cielo, okay?
Yeah.
And so
That was the same owners, Cielo and Output was the same family.
Right, I know.
Yeah,
So
that was such a great club. The sound system on that main floor of Output was in the top 3 greatest sounds. It was
fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Queen
I'm
Machine.
sorry. Yeah, too. It's a delay. You know that the owner of Cielo moved to Chelsea Market. There's a dance club under Chelsea Market now.
I knew that. Yeah, that's cool. And speaking of sound systems, what I was going to get at is here at my home, I have a sound system that is monumental. I have a sound system that is like full-on club experience, and my neighbors, they love it. I tell you, they absolutely love it because they pound on the walls. And what that means is like, we like this so much, we're having a crazy party and things are getting banged around, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, raise it up, that's how I interpret it, at least.
Yeah, well, what does that, for all the DJs out there, what does that equipment list look like?
I have a sound system called Meyer Sound, and it's what's called a line array system. So basically, like when you go to a big festival and they have the speakers hanging down, like 12 of them in the air, that's what I have hanging from the ceiling beams. And the speakers are a company called Meyer Sound. They're only really available for professional retailers. You can't even buy them in stores. It's very difficult, but I managed to get a hold of 6 of them, and I have 2 subwoofers, 6 Meyer line arrays, and it is at 25% volume. It sounds like Output in here. Yeah.
What type of software do you use?
Technique 1200s. Yeah, no software anywhere in my DJing. I'm still all vinyl.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not using software. Here's my software right here. It's it's my latest file.
Yeah, well, that's fantastic because Beatport, they did something for the pandemic. They did a 24-hour DJ fundraiser, just like last month. And Carl Cox, he went back to vinyl.
Yeah.
Everything was vinyl, and I thought that was so. I don't want to say the word innovative because we're going back to where we started, but it was really refreshing. So sure. I feel you on that,
my whole thing is I'm not innately against using this digital software for DJing, but for me, having that screen in front of me when I'm in the DJ booth with a crowd, I find that that's kind of like a psychological block to being able to connect, versus when I'm in the booth and I'm flipping through records and there's no screen in my face. I feel a much more holistic connection to creating the magic that can be created from not having the electromagnetic waves beaming into my brain. So that's one element. And another one is, Carl Cox, I used to see him DJ all the time for years, really, at Twilo, showing how long ago that must have been, if you or any of your listeners remember that place.
Yes, we remember Twilo.
And I used to see him spin there, and, vinyl has been the norm since, the 70s, right? And I really never left it, even when the whole digital, revolution kind of came. I still stayed with it. But now what I'm seeing is a lot of DJs, especially new ones, are getting into DJing and going to vinyl and rejecting the, technology, which is, like I said, I'm not a hater of the technology, but personally, for what I do, I don't find it necessary, and I feel like it actually takes something away. But this is, just my personal feelings, not necessarily the way it is for everybody.
Well, do you find when you're at a live event, are people more receptive or more excited when they see you playing vinyl? What kind of feedback do you get?
Sure. I mean, at one point, it's sort of like, watching a DJ on a computer. I mean, there's not much to see, right? There's really not much to see with the DJ on vinyl either, but there's definitely something there, and I've always come from the position that the DJ should not be in a stage for people to watch. The DJ should be tucked away up in a corner, with a little window maybe, and the dance floor, not paying attention to watching the DJ. People should be listening to the DJ. I always didn't understand this phenomenon where you go to a club and everybody's like watching the DJ on the computer. Like, did you see the way he hit the space bar? Oh my God, my You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, I just don't get that whole, situation. But I mean, there's definitely, when I'm spinning, there's some scratching, there's a art and an actual skill that one needs to have, a technical skill to work a turntable in such a way to make it do what it needs to do. So there's a touch, a fine, a feel, that it takes practice. And that's something to be said, that when you have that skill, that's something to watch and kind of admire, I suppose, of a more of a live show. I mean, versus, there's not really that same equivalence to doing it on a computer,
Yeah, well, one thing about vinyl, you have to, first of all, have an ear for music. You really do. And you really have to match the beats. You really have to know,
totally.
That separates the men from the boys and the girls from the women. You know what I mean? I can put it because that's how I started.
I know Dougie Fresh has got some skills on the.
Oh yeah, he got skills. Yeah, I can remember it distinctively. I know you remember this club in the East Village called Bauhaus.
What was it?
It was called Bauhaus. It was right around from Idlewild. And
yeah,
I remember going in this club, and when the digital stage really hit at that point, and I remember distinctly in Bauhaus, the guy put up his computer, he pressed play. I guess he had already pre-recorded it, and he went to another booth and started talking to his friends.
Let me tell you something. There's
I was like, really?
I'm not proud of it. I'm not proud of this, but I have DJ'd, I guess thousands of times in clubs through the years. And there's been a handful of times when I've been in a situation where I'm like, this place, like there's no one there maybe, or something's up, where I just go and I'll just plug in the old airport mode iPhone and play a pre-recorded mix and, just go hang out with my friends over in the and like, those sort of things, that's like, it's totally, you can do it if you're up on your computer. I mean, who's to say when you're watching someone that their whole entire mix is just a pre-recorded file, and going to that, it's sort of like there's this old DJ mantra, feeling or formula, right? So you might have a mix that you've done that's formulated out, you thought it through, but when you're in a club, you got to use that feeling to kind of see, where am I picking up what's working here, and being able to change what you thought you were going to do, and for that, having a pre-recorded mix kind of keeps you cuffed. Because you can't work into that feeling that you might need to say, that track, I could sense something's going on the dance floor with that vibe. And instead of going where I thought I was going to go with my formula, I'm going to drop this jam instead, So, that's that's one of the things with having a pre-recorded mix is, you might not always nail it. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if it's too abstract.
Yeah, well, it's called being able to read the crowd, and you can't do it if you put in a pre-recorded mix.
That's it. That's it. It's like, a DJ is sort of like a shamanistic element of picking up what's going on with the beat and working it and, traveling into that whatever wormhole to get it going. And you got to be able to be malleable to change your set. Like, I've gone in thinking I'm going to play this record and then that one because the mix is so tight. But then I go in and all that goes to hell and I'm like, bam, totally different happens and it's cool, Well,
so. you have to really respect the craft. So, I would promote DJs and I would stand by the booth. And when those people come up and say, do you have so and so?
Right.
Can you put on? I said, look, he's not at your house.
Right.
I was like,
I've always had the one same answer.
I'm like, no request. Thank you.
Well, it's funny. I don't know where this came from, but the answer I say whenever anyone asks me, like, hey, can you play whatever, right? My answer is always this. I always say, well, I don't have that, but what I do have is Herman's Hermits. I don't know why I say that, but I do. Herman's Hermits is this bizarre 60s band, and I just think the name is really funny. So that's just my go-to answer is I don't have that, but I do have Herman's Hermits. And oftentimes they'll say, oh, okay, yeah, play that then. Song, Herman's Hermits was that band. They sang that song. It's like, Mrs. Brown, you've got a lovely daughter. I don't know if you know that song.
And how people that not only do they want to request, they want to come behind in the DJ booth and help you spin.
I don't mind, if someone wants to come in the booth, if they seem like they're legitimately wanting to watch, and they're kind of respectable and stuff, like, I don't mind having people around. A lot of DJs are uncomfortable with having anyone in the booth, but I've had so many nights where I've had a cramped booth with 10 of my friends loaded in there, where I'm elbowing them to get to the turntable, and sometimes the chaos of that, it just makes it fun, like, as long as I could have enough room to do what I need to do, I don't mind the crowd in the booth, but that's, and when I was young, right, and just kind of getting into it, I used to go to clubs, and that's how I learned is I would kind of sneak into the booth and I'd just stand and watch the DJs and I'd be like, oh, what are they doing? What is that? And that's how I learned. No one ever taught me anything. I just watched DJs at various clubs, and that's how I picked up the skills that I got now, So if some guy wants to come in or girl and watch it, cool,
Dougie, are you a request in the booth DJ?
Uh-oh, I ain't hearing Dougie Fresh there. Yeah. I didn't hear Dougie there for some reason. I don't know if there's something settings.
Yeah, well, as long as we hear you, that's the most important thing.
Right, and as long as what's most important is you hear my music, because the mix.
Yeah, exactly.
Now that's what's really important,
Now tell your fans how they can get in touch with you.
Well, I have most all my gigs really throughout all these years have always come through word of mouth, and I've stayed busy. But I do have some social media presence. I have Instagram, which my name is Mesh in the Mix, which is like with an underscore between each word. So it's like Mesh _ in _ the _ mix. Mesh in the Mix with underscores. So it's complicated, but life is complicated. So that's my Instagram handle. And I also have a SoundCloud, which is under Supa DJ Mesh. And I also have a website, djmesh.com, which is sort of still under construction right now. There's not much on there, but you'll be able to find my Instagram handle at djmesh.com. And, that's one way to get in touch with me. But I got to say, this is great to be back with Triple Vibes. Queen Regine, I haven't seen you since that night I DJ'd at that party.
Up and down.
Up and down and over in Meatpacking. Yeah, that was a cool spot.
You remember, Mesh, you kept asking me for drink tickets. And I said, if you ask me one more time for drink tickets. I said, one more time, Mesh, one more time.
Listen, I have no recollection of that situation at all.
Well, just to let you know, you followed me around.
No. Anyway, yeah. So everything's been really good. I gotta say, I hope everyone's staying healthy too with this Corona situation going on. Hey Dougie, I can't hear you, but I do hope that we can meet up sometime soon. It's been a minute.
Yeah, in person, right?
Totally.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. Now you have to really appreciate human contact,
Mm-hmm. Totally. Yeah, exactly. I don't know. It seems like this situation is going to go on for a bit, but I'm feeling I need some social contact.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's you really appreciate the humans these days, right?
Absolutely. But at the same time, like I said, having all this time, I think a lot of people have been able to kind of finish up some little projects or start new projects. I've been, thinking about putting together these 2 DJ mixes, at least for a couple years. There's the very odd, another strange genres. I've been working on a very early drum and bass mix from like 1991 to 93 material, on vinyl, which again, those records are so hard to come by and they're very expensive as well. So, I've been on the hunt. I've got quite a collection, but I'm working on putting a mix together of that stuff. And I'm also been working on a mix of, I don't even know how to describe it. I guess I call it like oceanic adventure ambient mix. So
that sounds great. Yeah, that sounds great. Well, we look forward to it, and we're going to play your mix again, and we wish you well, and we hope we can have some things going. Maybe by the summer everything will be back to some sort of normal, and we can get together and just have a party and see people. You know what I mean?
Oh, I'm into it. Hopefully I'll see you behind the DJ booth at another nightclub in the coming months, where I will be able to leave the club with the speakers blown.
Well, that is DJ Mesh in the house. This is Queen Regine. I'm on the scene, and with DJ Dougie Fresh, the original is the best. And this is Triple Vibes Radio, and we thank Triple Vibes Radio. We thank Shaw Black. We thank Dope Chef. We thank Carl Van Demius III, and we're gonna play a mix from the one and only illustrious DJ Mesh.